Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Adam Lukman. I am from LG240E, and this is my first assignment, which is video presentation on the movie Lean on Me. Lean on Me is a movie that was released in 1989, and it tells the true story of a principal, which was played by Morgan Freeman. He changed a school which was one of the worst in New Jersey into a school that was able to pass the minimum basic skills test. In the movie Lean on Me, I have identified four issues. The first being homelessness, the second one being teenage pregnancy, the third being academic issues, and last but not least, discipline and manners issues. All right, we'll move to the first issue that can be found in this movie, which is homelessness. Um, there's a scene in this movie where Mr. Clark, Morgan Freeman, found his student Kanisha sitting in the middle of a hallway looking sad and unmotivated, and he asked her why is she sad. She reveals that she has been kicked out of her home by her mother because her mother refuses to take care of her anymore, and that is why Kanisha becomes sad and unmotivated. A theory that can be related to this scene is the humanistic perspective of motivation and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This is because, based on the scene, Kanisha is in a threat of failing to fulfill Maslow's one of the needs mentioned in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is physiological needs. She is in a threat of losing her shelter, her home. So that is why she becomes sad and unmotivated. Thankfully, Mr. Clark and Miss Levias offer her mother, Kanisha's mother, Miss Carter, a job, which in turn ensures Kanisha has a home, therefore making her more motivated to learn, as we can see towards the end of the movie. Some of the solutions that I can give for homelessness, according to the American Progress, some solutions that can be done to counter homelessness in the United States is to increase the minimum wage, invest in high quality childcare, and lastly, invest in affordable and comfortable housing for people that come from low income. The next issue is teenage pregnancy. In the scene where teenage pregnancy is mentioned, it can be seen that Kenisha is very, very sad because she is still a teenage and she has been shocked by the news that she is pregnant. And she reveals that information to Mr. Clark, who thankfully understands her situation and decides to consult her and reassures her that everything will be okay. A theory that can be related to this scene is that as a teacher, you should develop a positive relationship with students so that your students will feel safe around you and students can students will feel that they can rely on you. Solutions that to avoid teenage pregnancy are, according to the Malaysian Ministry of Health, some initiatives that can be done to avoid teenage pregnancy is to encourage abstinence from having sex, using preventive methods such as condoms, and lastly, to teach sex education in schools so that students are more aware of the consequences of having intimate relationships, sexually intimate relationships, and how to avoid yourself from being involved in that kind of activity. Another issue that can be found in this movie is academic issue. It was revealed to us early on into the movie that Eastside High School is struggling with their academic as they have failed to achieve the minimum requirement of minimum basic skills test, which is 75%, where they only achieved 35%. The theories that can be found throughout this movie to counter that can be related to this issue are teachers' expectations and cognitive engagement and self-responsibility. For teachers' expectations, Mr. Clark expects the students of Eastside High School to pass the basic minimum skills test, even though the students scored barely half the minimum in the previous test. By stating his expectations early on, students are motivated to achieve his expectations. Other than that, for cognitive engagement and self responsibility, Mr. Clark uses phrases that imply to students that if they don't do well in school, they will fail themselves later in life. This is to encourage a sense of self responsibility in students so that they will study hard and work hard to excel in school, to succeed in school. Some solutions for academic issues are, according to ThoughtCo, some solutions that can be done as teachers. Some solutions that can be done by teachers are set high expectations to your students, vary teaching methods, and show that you care about your students and be involved in their learning process.
Dr. Napier, it is my duty, it is my privilege, and my honor to report to you that the students of Eastside High have passed the minimum basic skills test.
For discipline and manners, we can see from the beginning of the movie, discipline and manners are two huge issues that keep occurring throughout the movie. And for this issue, a theory that can be related to it is management strategies. The solutions for this issue are solutions that are mentioned in the textbook and are also done by Mr. Clark himself in the movie. Firstly, Mr. Clark directly and assertively tells the student to stop doing whatever they are doing and follow the rules of the school and act accordingly. Secondly, giving the student a choice whether to fix their behavior or continue doing their bad behavior and suffer the consequences. Thirdly, isolating or removing a student from an environment. We can see that at the beginning of the movie, Mr. Clark, as soon as he enters the school, he expels students that are drug dealers and drug users from the school to create a better environment in the school. And lastly, imposing a penalty. We can see multiple times Mr. Clark gives his students and also teachers suspensions and detentions because they refuse to follow the rules or follow his orders.